Have yourself a very witchy Vlogmas. Stay 11! Yay! Hello, hello. Welcome to day 11 of Vlogmas, where we are going to talk about you. Stopping it. Knock it off. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Hi, Rachel from Utah. Marla, hi. Mary, Phoebe, Amber's here again. Hey, Anita. Luciana, oh, hi. Terry, Monica from Nova Scotia. Ah, the internet is so amazing. It's so amazing. I have notes today. So we'll see how on track I can stay with this, because I really want to make an impact today. I think this is an important subject. We won't be talking about possum poop, that is for sure. And I have changed my calendar to December. I noticed yesterday, I was going back through the year looking at this calendar, and I accidentally left it on November when it is so not November. The cusp of magic. Hi. Salavi Studio, hello to you. Rachel Billingsley. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I saw something on Twitter. I think it was yesterday, but I liked it and I cut and pasted it into this my notes here. Christopher Pinzak retweeted Alex Van Frank. That's the cool thing about Twitter, is people retweet other awesome people that you would never maybe come across otherwise. And in that way, like, our community spreads and grows, and you get to hear all these different perspectives. But this is about yoga, but I'm feeling like Vlogma is my yoga. Vlogmas is my yoga right now. And you all are, I feel a tribal thing going on here. I feel a friend thing going on here. I feel like we can support each other and grow here through these conversations. It's been really meaningful. It's really shocked me this year. These love streams, they were the best decision. I originally made this decision to save myself time, because vlogging is really time consuming, but that was not the reason. My soul was like, you need to connect with these awesome people. So hi, Once Upon a Gypsy Moon. Hello to you. Hi, Liz from Cornwall. I love to say where people are in the UK, Cornwall, UK, because it's just so exciting we can connect this way. But Alex Von Frank said, why do we practice yoga together? Because we are human, and we need to know that there are others trying to do their best too. When we come together, there is healing and support. No words needed. Of course, there's lots of words here, because this is not yoga. But that made me think about what I wanted to talk about today, about being unapologetic in your life, and also all of the feedback that I received when I talked about upper limits. And I was talking about, my own upper limits, like not being able to go too far over the $50,000 a year mark without like freaking myself out. All subconsciously. I'm not saying this was like a conscious decision I made. It was just like an upper limit that I didn't know was there. And in being really transparent about how much money I make every month, how much money I need every month, and how, as a expression of the queen, I have decided no more. That's over now. That's over now. I am definitely raising the price of the Queen program. I am definitely going to raise the price on my coaching going to 2019, and I'm going to do it unapologetically. I am. That is a definitive statement. It's how I feel. I feel really good about it. And in talking about that, I got so much feedback from other entrepreneurs and biz witches and people that were listening, and that said, like, that resonated with me so much. And so I had this feeling of us all kind of like taking a step forward together. And so this is going to be really, I hope, powerful today. Did you guys get the newsletter that I sent? I sent a newsletter out to people that are on the Queen list. And I popped into the Queen group to tell people we were doing this. We're not specifically, there's going to be a lot of mention of the Queen today, but this is for everybody. I just want to talk about not apologizing for taking up space in your world. And if you got that message, you would have seen, and you can look down below, that there are some prompts that I wanted to work with today, and I will read them to you now. And it's something, you could use these as journal prompts as you want, but I thought they'd be good prompts for getting the conversation going here. So, how uncomfortable are you willing to be in order to make sure other people aren't made uncomfortable by you? Isn't it amazing how we will twist ourselves into knots and accept less and make ourselves so uncomfortable because we don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable? It is a very strange thing that we do to ourselves. So that's a good question to ask yourself. How uncomfortable am I willing to be to not make other people uncomfortable? And then on the reverse of that, I think, and we can speak about this later if you want, there is something to be said about being uncomfortable with purpose and stepping outside of the comfort zone, AKA the zone of lies. But that discomfort is fleeting, because once you like step outside and you stand up for yourself, or you speak up for yourself, or you ask for what you want, you might be shaking. You're so physically uncomfortable because you're doing something you've never done before. But then the reward is so huge that you have growth and you change, and you will never experience that discomfort again. You're moving through the discomfort to grow. Whereas what I'm talking about here, about making yourself uncomfortable to make other people feel comfortable, is about making yourself smaller, and that's chronic. That's chronic. That's like a low-grade chronic buzz of yuck that like just burns below the surface of your life. And really the only way out of that is to step out of the zone of lies. Mary writes, I'm learning to not do that. Amazingly, living in another country for 2 years really helped me with that. Now that I'm back among the people I did that for, I can totally see how that would be true, like stepping outside of your usual reality, and also having to hustle, I think, to keep up with it, just a foreign situation to find yourself, to find your way around and get things that you need, I think is actually good training for speaking up for yourself. Anita says, when everyone else benefits from your efforts except you. Exactly. Okay, so the next prompt is, what money, pleasure, perks, and advancements have you missed out on because you dared not reach for more? It's hard not to make this about women because women do this so often, but I know plenty of men who do it as well. And it's an interesting thing to think about, like what money, pleasure, perks, and advancements have you missed out on because you dared not reach for more? Can anybody answer that question right now, just off the top of your head? Can you think of something that you missed out on because you didn't ask or because you didn't receive? Speaking of which, hi, Melissa. I'm thinking of a different Melissa right now, though. But Melissa, yesterday I gave away a free tutorial. Not a free tutorial, it's not free. I gave it away as a prize here for answering a question. And Melissa came in like second place, but like just a hair. She's like, no, I know that I was first. I know I was first. So I said, okay, I will give the prize away to the first and second place person. So email me. So Melissa, if you're watching this, I double dog dare you to email me right now and receive your prize. You won it, lady. You spoke up for yourself. You said, I want it too. Please. I know I was here first. And she was really quick on the draw. But I never got your email saying that you wanted your prize. So I don't know. That just popped into my head, talking about not reaching for more, but also not even receiving what is already yours. God forbid we appear greedy, right, Karen? Yeah. How much are you willing to let yourself have? How much is too much and why? That's the question I would continually ask. Why? Akashic song, fame. Fame as a musician because I didn't want to upstage my co-lead singer and folks wanted to see me succeed. Isn't that amazing? That is amazing. I totally feel that. Yeah. So the next one is, who would you be? Who would you be if you stopped apologizing for wanting what you want and feeling what you feel? And again, these are down below if you just want to cut and paste them or copy them down as journal prompts. I just thought it would be fun to go through them together. You love Satine. Watching on your lunch break. Yay! Hello! Happy lunch to you. So who would you be if you stopped apologizing for wanting what you want and feeling what you feel? I think in the magical community and the spiritual community, this idea of like manifestation can be frowned upon sometimes. Like, how much is too much? What are you being greedy for? And I said something the other day about like, I'm not materialistic. But like, what's wrong with being materialistic? Like, this is a playground, I think. Like, who cares if you want that fancy car? Like, why won't you let yourself have it? Why won't you admit to other people the things that you want? I think that is a form of apologizing for taking up space. It's a deep sense of unworthiness and not having respect for your own feelings and your own desires. Rachel, you guys, I think I'm a total asshole or something because I think I already do this stuff usually. What do you mean you already do this stuff usually? You ask for what you want? But see, even in saying that, you're like, I think I'm a total asshole. Like, why though? Why does that make you an asshole? Why? I'm just going to sit here and ask questions all morning, okay? I'm going to interrogate everyone. I asked for what I want. Why does that make you an asshole? You should. We all should. That is something we should all do for ourselves. You have to be your own best advocate. And a lot of times, like, parents will kick ass for their kids. They'll ask for all the things for their kids. They'll stand up for their kids. But then when it comes to doing it for themselves, a lot of times they will shrink back. Oh, good question, right? Why does that make you an asshole, Rachel? Dawn says, I so hate conflict and criticism that I make myself small and invisible to avoid the negative attention. Oh, please, lady, I totally am with you there. That's what I was talking about having stranger danger too. Like when my podcast, when I noticed like 6,000 people are tuning in and I had that like stranger danger feeling and being afraid of criticism. I'm a person who I will talk about my fears and my insecurity because I think it's helpful for other people to hear it, but it's also helpful for me to move through it, just to identify the fear and say, I'm afraid people are going to criticize me, and then go do the thing anyway. Sometimes that helps to just kind of get the poison out of your system, to get the fear out of your system. Monica, I'm getting better with this stuff now that I'm in my 40s. Totally. Yes, that is something a lot of people experience, myself included. So Lavi Studio, I have a tendency to want what I create to be perfect. My paintings I view as never being finished, or that people won't be willing to actually pay for my time, not just $1 per hour. Yes. And that's, I have some quotes here about self-respect. I'll circle back on my self-respect quotes, because that's about respecting your own time, respecting your own talent, respecting your own desires, respecting your own feelings. And that's something that all artists, I think, need to learn. But then also just anybody that does any kind of job or offers any kind of service to the world, people will only value you in general as much as you value yourself. I have found there are these angels that will be like, come on, you're better than this, and like that will step beyond the border of what you think is possible for you. But in general, like if you don't stand in your value and say, I am valuable, and not verbally say it. It's a feeling. You don't walk into a room and say, I am valuable. I value myself and I respect myself. It's a feeling. It's a queen thing. It's like stepping into that place and operating from that space, even if you're shaking in your boots. Like, the self-talk is really empowering. So Gloria Steinem, I have a couple of quotes from her. Actually, one I posted this morning was a specific message to my witchy friends who love this whole as within, as without, and we are all a part of the universe and the microcosm of the macrocosm. But if you listen carefully to what she's saying, it's about respecting yourself, because we have so much respect for the environment and respect for the universe and respect for God and Goddess. And if you believe that you are an expression of the divine, you are disrespecting the universe, source, God, Goddess, if you're disrespecting yourself. So this is what she says. We are the universe in microcosm. The universe is each of us in macrocosm. If we have respect for one, how can we fail to have respect for the other? So I think it's interesting, this idea that I keep bringing up and exploring here, that like we are source experiencing itself through experience. It's the only way for it to experience itself is through our own lives. So to be respectful of the goddess, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, it would make sense then, right, that you need to be respectful of yourself as a channel of that energy. And then she also says, self-esteem isn't everything. It's just that there's nothing without it. Yay, I love that one. And then one more on self-respect, and I'll get to your comments that are scrolling here. This is from Joan Didion, who's a badass queen, a crone queen. To free us from the expectations of others, to give us back to ourselves, there lies the great singular power of self-esteem. So self-esteem is about freedom. And here's the thing too, you're freeing yourself of the expectations of others, but also a lot of that's in your head. You don't know what expectations most people have for you. And when you start acting like the queen or the king of your own life, when you make a clear decision to hold your body posture in a certain way that says, I am worthy and deserving of love and all the good things and the raises and the money and being able to pay my bills, like as an artist, which whatever it is for you, when you hold yourself that way, when you ask for what you want, most people aren't going to go running for the hills. People will meet you there and respect you. How you respect yourself sets the tone for other people to respect you. And people who feel challenged and threatened and triggered by that, it's not about you. That's about them. You're triggering something in them that they need to work through. So in a weird way, you're giving them a gift and you can cut them loose. You can just mentally cut them loose. If it's someone you have to work with that you literally have to see every morning, you can just like energetically, emotionally release that and not worry that they're giving you the stink eye. They may very well be making weird, little passive aggressive comments and things like that. And I will talk about that too. Like there's a way to stand up for yourself without getting into a thing with the person about it. But energetically, emotionally, mentally, you can just be like, that is their junk. The more powerful I become in my own heart and mind and life, and the more that is reflected back at me by the outer world, the more it's triggering this person. And that's because they have some stuff they need to work through, and it's really not about me at all. Oh boy, there's a conversation going on here. What have I missed? Okay. Sorry, it's taking me a second to find where we are here. Men usually ask for what they want. No problem. Yes, I would say in general, that is true. But I've definitely known men in my life that have had issues with that. And I'm the email writer. This is what's funny. I told you guys earlier that I'm the scary phone call lady. Like, phone calls really intimidate me. And that's something I had to work through. And it's something I still like call on the queen energy. If I have to make a scary phone call, I know now not to avoid it like I did in the past. And I will make the phone call, but I definitely call in the queen energy. Like, I am a queen. I can do this. I have to kind of like pump myself up. But I've always been the go-to person to write scary emails for people having to stand up for themselves, people having to ask for a raise, proposals. And I have done that for almost every man I have ever been with, and some male friends. So you might be surprised. Men don't maybe show it in the way that we do and like commiserate with their friends about it, but I've written those emails. I know, I know that men get intimidated by this stuff too. Karen, I have left thousands of dollars on the table in unpaid receipts and unbilled time because I didn't want to make waves and I didn't have a desperate need for the money. My God, yes. Right? I have had a need for the money and didn't want to make waves. I've done that too. And I actually needed the damn money. Oh, yes. Liz, age can definitely affect how we perceive ourselves and our sovereignty. Thank you for saying the word sovereign. We get old and start to not take any shit. Time is running out. Yes. Time is running out. We don't know how long we have. We don't know how long we have. And that sovereign, the word sovereign, I just ended last week. Ran a little special where you got $10 off Shadow Love. This week, I am doing the Spiritually Mature Witch ebook, and you get $10 off that when, what did I say? Let me make sure I say this right. It's down in the show notes here. Get $10 off the Spiritually Mature Witch, 5 keys to unlocking your personal power when you enter this code at checkout. Sorry, no more. Sorry, no more. And so that is going to be this week. I just wanted to do some giveaways and specials here. In the spirit of Oprah and Ellen, they're always like giving away free things during the holidays and Oprah's favorite things. And I just like, what can I do? I'll do like some discounts here and there, and I'll do some really fun giveaways. Maybe I'll end with an awesome one. I like to do the giveaways live to reward people for being here live. But the Spiritually Mature Witch ebook is going to be very, very helpful for what we're talking about here today, for sure. So that's why I chose that one. Okay, so Melissa, one of the things I'm working on is my fear of being seen. I can definitely see this as holding me back in pursuing a relationship, and it's causing the clutter to get out of control. Yes, that is a major source of clutter for a lot of us, is like you can hide under the clutter. And that's so much about like not wanting to be seen is a way of apologizing for taking up space. It's hiding. It's hiding. It's hiding. Marla. Oh my gosh. Marla is such a foxy redhead. It's hard to picture her this, but she says, yes, now that I am a crone, I am really going for it and not taking crap either. The Spiritually Mature Witch is an awesome ebook. Thank you. I always thought you were such a queen, Marla, that when you signed up for the queen program, I think it was the last round, I was like, what an honor. I was so honored that Marla was going to do the queen thing with me. I was thrilled because you already have a lot of that energy. But that's a good point too, is to me, working with the queen as an archetype of empowerment. And learning to not apologize for myself and all the things, setting healthy boundaries, all the things that working with the queen as an archetype and kind of a guiding light is about. It's an ongoing process. There's always layers. I always want to know, what more can I do? What other upper limits have I hit? How can I expand? How can I grow? And so far, the queen has not let me down. It's something I continually can go back to and take to like another level and another level. So Lobby Studio, I have struggled with being seen since I was a small child. It's been a journey for sure. Thank you, Marla. Thank you, guys. Hi, Amber. Chaos can't have anyone over. Hold on. What is this? Chaos can't have anyone over syndrome due to a home that is messy. Oh, I see. I can't have anyone over due to a home that is messy. Oh yeah, keep the people out. Keep the people out. That's a perfect way to keep the people out. I totally relate to that. So let me see if I can find my notes here again, because I have a bunch of windows open. What is the next? We've gone far off track here with doing these prompts. Where did the next one go? Oh, I know why it's not in my notes, because it's here. It's here on the thingamajig. It's in the show notes here. Oh, how would your life be different if you stopped apologizing for wanting what you want and feeling what you feel? How would it look different? And then this, Karen kind of already answered this question. What has playing small cost you? What does playing small cost you? And I'm pausing because I would like to know. What has playing small cost you? What is it that you know you could have had you not played small? And I hope whatever your answer is, that you make a very clear decision that from this point forward, I will never play small again in that way. And it's about noticing too. To say I will never play small again is a commitment to the practice. So you're probably going to catch yourself playing small, and you might not always make the right decision, but at least you have the awareness around it, and you're working on it, and you're growing, and you're expanding. If you find it's hard for yourself, if it's hard to speak up for yourself, if you really struggle with that, and you have a friend, let's say, that's always like taking passive aggressive swipes with you, and you always just kind of giggle them off, like, or you pretend you don't notice, or maybe you even join in and like make fun of yourself a little bit. And it bothers you, but you've never said anything about it. So you say, okay, no more. I'm not going to do this anymore. The first time you have to stand up for yourself, it's going to be uncomfortable, and you might not do it. You might just feel all the uncomfortable feelings rise up, and you might kind of chicken out and then feel bad about it, but don't, because you're at least aware of it. You stepped up to the precipice and you were about to leap off, and you didn't take the leap, but maybe next time you will. Like, have faith, keep going there. Let yourself be uncomfortable in that way. Like, growth is, it's a little tiny bit, not to be scary, but like walking through fire, right? And I posted something about, it's a great Charles Bukowski quote. I can't think of any right now off the top of my head, but it's about walking through fire. Right? and I talked about Sagittarius season, and how it's like walking through fire. And I posted this meme of Tony Robbins like yelling at Oprah, and she's running over the hot coals because he does that fire walk. It's exhilarating. It's scary when you're standing in front of the hot coals before you have to run across the fire. And when you're like in the middle of it, you're like, oh my God, I'm standing, my feet are on fire. Is this really happening? And then you're over it. And then all of a sudden you get this exhilarating rush, and you feel so powerful. You see, like, it's just a matter of mindset and a willingness to actually go there. And then you've experienced some growth, and you've learned that is something that I can do. And then the next time you have to ask for the money you're owed, the next time you have to stand up for yourself to a frenemy, the next time you have to do something that involves self-respect, it'll be easier. It'll be easier. It'll be easier. Not that you won't continually find more upper limits and more upper limits and more upper limits. But that's kind of the journey of it. That's kind of like, wow, what other crap is in here? What else? Because once you realize, like, I've been settling for so much less than I know I deserve, than I know I'm worth, or even that's possible. Once you realize that and you kind of get over that, you start finding more and more and more things. Walking over hot coals is an amazing thing to do. It's just so symbolic, right? We share the same birthday, Angela. Hey, September 29th. What's up? That's awesome. Oh, Anita, that's interesting. It's especially challenging for me because I am physically small, just under 5 feet, very petite. So I'm overlooked while, whoops, the comments are scrolling, so it bumped your comment. I'm overlooked while shopping or when I am in a place of business. Yes, then you have to be like tiny but mighty and fierce. I am here. I am here. I'm a soul. I'm a presence. Little kids know this. Little kids will make their needs known. It's a training that trains that out of us. But if you watch like a little kid, they're so entitled, right? And I think that's something that we don't have to resent, like women saying like men have no problem asking for what they want. It's because there's an expectation. And this is a product of patriarchy, which is, by the way, hierarchical. Like patriarchy is not good for men either, because there's always another man over you and another man over you and the man. And it's this hierarchy, but throughout, I mean, centuries and centuries and centuries and thousands of years of time, men have been trained to believe that they are entitled to certain things. It's an expectation they have. So it's like this self-fulfilling thing. It's this cycle where they are rewarded for a way in being a man in a way that we are not as women. But also, there's the magic of expectation and entitlement. They feel entitled. Of course you have to pay me an extra $10,000 for that extra week of work I did. Of course. Whereas a woman would just suffer and maybe not say anything because of those 1,000 years that we were treated like crap. Thousands, plural. That we were treated like we were worthless, like we were a piece of property. And so we're still working through that for ourselves. And society is still working through that to see us in that light. So for us, it's a lot trickier because we have to come with that sense of entitlement and expectation based on nothing, just on like our own spiritual sovereignty and our own internal belief that I am worthy and I'm going to step forward for myself. And if it helps you, this helps me, think about all the other women that you are bringing with you when you go to say, excuse me, you owe me $10,000 for that extra week of work that I did for you. That's what we agreed on. And that's not being reflected in this paycheck you just gave me. When you do that, you are setting the tone for all the other women of the world and the future women that haven't even been born yet. Every time we do that, we're setting a new expectation and a new sense of entitlement. And I think belief, expectation, entitlement, all those things. Entitlement is a word that we throw around in a negative connotation, but it's extremely powerful because when people feel entitled to something, they typically get it. They typically get it. And so it's good to know how like that works on an energetic level. So Lobby Studio, The Fly, FLY, finally loving yourself system helps me keep my home clean. 15 minutes of cleaning at a time. That's awesome. Karen, I see how I kept myself in low level jobs for years when I could have moved up quicker. Interesting to see in hindsight. Yes. Men are like ladder climbers, right? And they have each other's back, you know, the boys club and all of that. Like that is why women, when we come together, we're so powerful. Like that's why I'm telling you right now, if you want to have the most amazing year of your life, way better than finding the most perfect planner. The most perfect planning system is do the Queen program. It's 5 weeks. We start on January 1st. It gives you a 5-week head start to really, really work with this energy. There's a task like every 3 days that you have to do. So it becomes experiential. It's not just like reading or listening or watching something. You actually are being challenged to have your own experience for 5 weeks to like create momentum. for the year ahead, for your whole life ahead. But then the best part to me is the other women in this. We have a private Facebook group, and I really encourage women to celebrate their wins there and to brag about their wins. And they do. And it's really exciting and really encouraging. And I get so much out of that just myself personally. Like, you know, men having each other's back and having this boy club, it's just natural, right? That they would want to help their buddies out. It's natural that you, if there's like a big job coming up, that you want to like throw a bone to your buddy so you can work with your buddy because he's fun and you like him and he got your back the last time. Like, women, we can do this for each other too. Like, that's to me what a queen is about. A queen has other queens in her life. A queen can recognize another queen. A queen will partner with another queen, and we can all have each other's backs. And I think that's one of the coolest, most amazing things about working with that energy. Okay, so I have a variety of little notes here. I'll answer a question here that I actually wrote answers down to this morning when I was drinking my coffee. So Anna Arwin, I haven't seen you here today, but that doesn't mean you're not here because the scrolly thing can go by pretty fast. You said, Joanna, could you give tips on how to enforce boundaries from a place of love and positivity instead of fear and frustration? I say don't do anything from a place of fear and frustration. But also, sometimes you just have to stand up for yourself, like in extreme situations, like if somebody's groping you or something, you know, you want to like really be fierce about it and be like, fuck off, back off. Like there's something to that. But I think what you're talking about is more subtle, like boundary setting and wanting to do that from a loving, positive place. I think many women and very sensitive men, we overdo trying to be loving and positive to the point where like we're so apologetic. Raise your hand if you've ever apologized for your face or your hair. Like you show up to meet a friend from your lunch and you're like, I'm so sorry. I look like such a mess. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I used to apologize for having acne. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My face is so broken out right now. Like, why am I apologizing to you about that? Or I'm sorry, my hair looks like crap. How many times have you apologized for giving a gift to somebody? Like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't really have a lot of money this Christmas. Like, what? It's a gift. You're giving a gift with an apology. Like, think about all the strange ways that we apologize for yourself. Am I the only one here? Does anybody, has anybody ever apologized for the way you look or food that you've made from somebody? I know it's not your favorite, but I blah, 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 blah. So I will answer your question, Anna, with that caveat, like, love and positivity is sometimes it's coming from a strong place. Like, excuse me, you can't talk to me like that. I think humor is amazing. If somebody's like crossing your boundary or asking you to do something that you don't want to do, you can just be like, nope. And it makes people kind of like, what do you mean? You know, and it can kind of like create some nervous laughter, but also release the pressure. Just be like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Yeah, no, that's not happening. But then I did write down, let's see, I have 3 answers for you. So if somebody wants you, if they're like a boundary pusher in the way that they're always asking you to give time that you don't want to give, like your boss is always asking you to stay later and later and later. Your friend is always asking you to help for free with all of these things that end up taking away time for you to be able to do things for yourself, or somebody wants you to give your time on the weekend and you haven't had a weekend to yourself in 3 weeks. You might say something like, oh, hey, I don't know if you knew this about me, but I'm really protective of my downtime or my lunch break or my weekends or whatever it is you want me to give up to make you happy. Not that you would phrase it that way, but that's actually how I keep my sanity intact. I need that time to be able to function and kick ass in my job and life. So you're saying like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually like keep my weekends clear, or I make a point of getting home by 5:30. So I have a moment to decompress before I have to deal with my family. And that's how I show up to this job every day, with a good attitude. Like, there's a way to frame it where you're presenting what your needs are without apologizing. Okay, so another one I wrote, if it's a good friend who has crossed a boundary, you can share, I'm saying a really good friend, a friend that you're very, very, very close to, a best friend kind of person. You can share your vulnerability with them around having to stand up for yourself by saying like, this actually makes me really uncomfortable because I've never told you this before, but I have to let you know that when you say or do this one thing, I don't love it. I love you, but I don't love that. And I don't want that to happen anymore. And chances are, I think it's okay to like wrap that up in vulnerability and say, I feel really uncomfortable telling you this, but I'm telling you this because we're such good friends and I really love you. And it's starting to, you know, starting to spoil this friendship for me. And I love you. I want to keep our friendship good, but this one thing like has to change for that to happen. And I don't think that that's apologetic at all. I think that that's standing up for yourself while still being very human and vulnerable and not going on the attack. And then if it's just somebody's like constantly trying to make you do things that you don't want to do, like another, like a boundary pusher kind of person, and you're always going along when you really just don't feel like it. You just don't feel like it. And then you like have this quiet resentment like seething underneath it, you can say, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that you want to do X, Y, and Z. And you should totally do that. You should do that. It's just not for me. It's just not my thing. But hey, don't let me stop you from doing you. Go on with your bad self. And that way, you know, you're using a little bit of humor and you're also saying like, oh, you do that thing, but I ain't doing it with you, friend. There's a way to use humor to make a bridge between people. I think when we're fearful, sometimes we can be overly harsh with people, or we don't stand up for ourselves at all, or we can be really, really defensive, and we don't give people the credit that most people deserve. They're stronger than you think. They're not going to fall apart and break apart if you tell them no. Some people do have a great sense of entitlement and they're not used to hearing the word no, but you have to teach people how to treat you. You have to teach them how to treat you. It might be a shock at first and be like, Joanna has never said no to me before. But chances are they're probably going to respect that about you. It's probably not going to be the end of the relationship. And if it is, good for you. You just freed yourself of somebody that was using you. You freed yourself of someone that was using you. For me, I came to the queen. I was led to the queen as an archetype by working with Athena. And I'm not going to get all into how I found Athena as a goddess, as an archetype. I work with Athena as just an archetype and energy, almost like a kind of like a totem in my mind. Like I can think of Athena and it gives me like a certain energy and a certain empowerment. And I equated Athena with the Queen of Swords and the sword of truth. And I really think of her as someone who wields a sword of truth. And it really started helping me with standing up for myself and speaking up for myself. So my very first adventures with the queen very much came from this place of speaking my truth and standing up for myself. And my voice would shake and I would like suffer and trying to get my truth out in the beginning. But the more you practice, the better you get at it. Just like with anything, it's really about practicing and standing up for yourself. I think something that we do too is pretending. I wanted to circle back on this. Pretending not to notice when people are being rude to you. Pretending not to notice. This was something I did a lot of too when I was younger, is men making like snide comments about my boobs or my ass or the way I look, like sexual innuendo that's really inappropriate, and just kind of being like, ha, or pretending that I don't hear instead of being like, what did you just say to me? You know, and putting it back on them. They're the ones that open the can of worms. Why are you sitting there squirming uncomfortable? They're the fool that just made a total dork out of themselves. So learning to like hit that back and be like, balls in your court, dude. What did you just say? If they're going to double down on it, then they're going to have a problem, especially if other people are in the room. And I really believe in this whole thing about teaching people how to treat you. But this goes for friends too, like frenemies who make like weird passive aggressive comments, can never be happy for you when something's going your way, kind of pretending like you don't see that and not acknowledging it is a way of making yourself small. And it chips away at you. It eats away at you like a cancer inside in your spirit and your soul. You feel it. You have resentment, and then it starts tainting the friendship, and then you start picking back at the person, and it taints the whole thing. When if you would just address it when it's happening, you have a chance for that friendship to flourish. You have a chance for a sense of respect to develop between you two. You have an opportunity to take your friendships to the next level because your friend might not even realize they're doing it. They're probably just playing out some funky old pattern that they're not even aware of. It's probably some weird subconscious shadow play thing that's going on. So if you want to have really deep friendships with fellow queens or with people that are on a similar spiritual path to you, it's really important that you learn to speak up for yourself and not apologize for taking it to meet you, for you've given them the opportunity to fully see who you are and how they're going to react to that. Oh, there's the Bukowski quote. Thank you. What matters most is how you walk through the fire. Yes. So I was saying that of Sagittarius season. It's like, it's how you do it. Do it with style. Do it like a queen. Do it like a badass, you know. We're all walking through fire every single day. Life is so challenging. I have another dentist appointment after this. I actually filmed a vlog for tomorrow. I haven't edited it yet, but I'm not sure. We don't really know what's going to happen in this dentist appointment. So I don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in the morning. So I was like, I better make a vlog just in case, because I'm going to be showing up every day for VLOGMAS, come hell or high water, come dental, whatever or not. I really want to follow through on this every single day for 20 days of VLOGMAS. So life happens. Possum poop happens. It's how you handle it. Can you handle it with style? Can you handle it like a queen? Can you handle it with some humor? Monica, I drank and was a real pothead for years as a way of playing small. Totally, I understand that completely. I had been told my whole life I was too much. Oh, this is a whole other conversation. We should definitely have this conversation. I'm going to do another queen thing. I'm tempted to talk about being too much because that's such a thing. I've been told my whole life I was too much. So I use substances to keep myself a little dumber, a little slower, a little nicer. Yep. You're to this, you're to that, you're to this. I totally understand. 15 months sober, woohoo! And learning to live large. It feels amazing. I'm so glad that I saw that just now, Monica. Awesome. Congratulations. That's a big deal. You have over a year. You're coming up on a year and a half. That's awesome. Yay. And see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, queen supporting queen. Because Solavi Studio says, Monica, congratulations. That is wonderful. Anita says, embrace your newfound power. Alina, Monica, have been smoking pot for years as a way of playing small too. I've been trying to stop for years, but haven't been able to. And I use this as an excuse for why I haven't been more productive. Alina, I totally recommend checking out The Mood Cure, by the way. She addresses that in the book. I know I already talked about The Mood Cure before, but that's an interesting book to talk about or to read when you're thinking about that, because pot changes your brain chemistry for sure. And that book can be really helpful. The tips in there for pumping up the brain chemistry, getting some serotonin going in your brain and getting your energy up and your focus without feeling anxious. Butterfly Magic with hot tea. Hi, folks. Mwahs. Right on. Ancestors rejoice. Okay. Terry, I find I've always chosen the wrong moment to finally stand up for myself or overreacted. That instance wasn't such a big deal, but I felt suffocated from having to let all the bigger deals slide. Oh, yes. That's another thing that happens too. We're like volcanoes about to erupt and people don't know it, but like you deny yourself and you deny yourself and you bite your tongue and you don't speak up for yourself and you don't speak up for yourself. And then like one tiny little thing happens and you just explode in an inappropriate way and it all comes out like, ah! Usually on someone who doesn't deserve it, a loved one or a friend, or it happens in a really embarrassing situation, maybe at work. And that is another reason, my friends, to stand up for yourself in the moment by moment, as it happens, to speak up for yourself, to ask for what you need, to not work too many hours. Don't burn out your adrenals. Don't stretch yourself too thin. Like, take exquisite care of yourself. Respect yourself. Respect your time. Stand up for yourself so that you continue to function without then having like a major blowout and freaking everybody out. But yes, I totally hear you on that, Terry. Mary, my daughter helps me work against that expectation because when she's with me, I don't want her to see me making myself small. Yes, and that's a lot of times, that's something you can leverage and harness. Like if you're a parent, thinking about like, you know, you'll stand up for your kids, but will you stand up for yourself? If you're the kind of parent that would do anything for your kids, but you won't really do it for yourself, then reframe it. You're modeling behavior that your kids are then going to then act out. If you know anything about how shadows work, how programming works, the way you treat yourself is the way your kids are likely to treat themselves or someone else when they grow up. So you can step into that energy, that kind of queen energy or king energy, whatever you're feeling that makes you feel really empowered. The warrior archetype is a good one to work with in the name of teaching your kids how to conduct themselves. You're setting them up for a future that is bright instead of creating more victims. You know, you're like, okay, so this lineage of victimhood, it ends with me. And I'm doing it for my ancestors. I'm doing it for all the people who couldn't do it before me. And I'm doing it for my kids and all the people who will come after. This old funky pattern, this disempowering pattern, this martyrdom, this acting like a victim, it ends now. It ends right here and it ends with me. I'm the end of the line. I get fired up about this stuff. You know I'm fired up when I'm like doing the preacher hands. All right, Fly Lady Love. Fly Lady comes up all the time when I'm hosting these things. Everybody loves the Fly Lady. Always meeting new queens each time the program runs, like Sierra and Marla. I love that. Yep. So I have a dentist appointment I have to get to. Oh, I want to apologize for my cellulite, but I keep resisting the destructive urge. Don't you dare apologize for your beautiful lady body. Almost every single woman on the planet has or eventually will have cellulite as part of being a woman. And the beauty industry has made us feel like we have to apologize for that. It's our mistake. It's a flaw. We're not good enough. We haven't eaten the right diet. We haven't exercised enough. We haven't had the right pill. We're not doing it right. Yes. Apologize for my house not being perfect when someone came over. I still find myself wanting to do that. I have stained, icky, gross carpet that my landlord has not replaced. And it makes me very self-conscious when people come over. It's all I can see. And it takes a lot of like, I'm not going to apologize for this. This is my house. This is my house. This is what it looks like. This is what it is. And I actually love my house when I'm not worried about what other people think. And there's no reason to put other people on the spot that way either and make them uncomfortable. They're just happy that they're at your house. They're just happy to be there. And then all of a sudden you're putting them on the spot where they have to be like, okay, your carpet is gross. I'm sorry. Like, what do you want me to say? You're apologizing to me for this. Like, I've apologized so many times for my body. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm not thin. Sorry. Yep. Rachel. Mary says, apologizing all the time can be such a cultural thing too. I noticed when living in the Netherlands, they don't apologize like that. Even the women. That is badass. That is badass. Let's take a tip from the Netherlands. Oh, I'm so bummed that I can't get through all these comments because now they're really getting good and I have to leave. Send me good dental vibes, please. May this all go very well today. My plan is to post a vlog tomorrow, and I will be back here on Thursday at 8 a.m. 8:30, excuse me, 8:30 a.m. And if you haven't signed up for the Queen program and you're thinking about it, just do it. There's a link down below. Join us. It's going to be amazing. I promise you, you're going to connect with some awesome women that are there to lift you up. We have never, not one time, had anybody that has done anything less than queenly in that group. It's the most supporting, loving, amazing group of women. And then you get to go on this journey. It's all on your own. Nobody's watching you go through your journey. You share what you want to share. Like every 3 days, you get a new email with an assignment in it. And it's this experience that you get to have to launch 2019 feeling strong and empowered and really getting some momentum on the year. So yay, that's that. I love you all so much. I hope that you know how I feel about you because I got all the feelings. I have all the feels. And until we meet again, happy Vlogmas. Much love to you. Peace.